Hi there, this is Paige, a Stamp Girl here on YouTube, and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm sharing with you the cards I made for the collab called Craft Our Paper Stash. This is hosted by Deb, who is Deb Houck's Crafty Cottage here on YouTube. And each month on the 15th we make about 5 cards and using what's in our stash and sharing them with all of you here on YouTube. So for this month I pulled out this Magnolia Lane paper pack. These are some of the patterns in here. I've got quite a bit left. I've been hoarding it. It's such beautiful paper, but I need to start using it because what's coming up in the next catalog is just as awesome. So I have to make room for the new. I also use this Magnolia, 3D Magnolia embossing folder from Stampin' Up! As a highlight on all of my cards. I don't use my embossing folders often enough, and I decided I better focus on embossing folders this time. So I just typed out a little label to remind myself that I need to use the 3D embossing folder plate when I use this in my Big Shot. So let me share with you the cards that I made. Here is, not in any particular order, but here's one, a white card base and a petal pink cardstock layer, and then some Mossy Meadow cardstock. The Mossy Meadow is what I ran through with the embossing folder. And then I took one of these brushes and I took some white craft ink and then just shaded the petals and leaves with the white ink. And then I took some petal pink ink and just brushed on a little bit of pink on the petals, and then I took some yellow, I think I might have used So Saffron, and just went in the center of the flower, just real subtle. Then I took a really pale gray Copic marker and just outlined the flowers to give a little shadow. And this is some ribbon from Stampin' Up! It's really soft. I love it. Just added that to the corner. And then the inside are just the repeated layers of colors. Sticking with the green, I made a card base from Mossy Meadow, and then another panel that I embossed. And this time I didn't do anything in particular to the flowers. I just embellished with some rhinestones. I added a little cluster down here. Here's some twine. These flowers were from Magnolia blooms that I stamped and colored with blends and then fussy cut them. This Good Morning Magnolia is a double set of stamps, and then this was a separate set, and I just put them all into one larger case along with the matching dies so that I can have them all together in one spot. So that's how I'm storing those. And then whenever I have a stamp set that has matching dies or a punch, I just remind myself by putting a green dot on there. So back to this. This is some ribbon from Dollar Tree, and this is a piece of cork. It was some cork pieces that were in the Sweet Magnolia Lane cork pieces, and this was a tag, but I just wanted a narrow strip, so I just cut the tag down into a little piece and stamped on Enjoy Today. And then the inside is a repeat of the colors and then some more of the Dollar Tree ribbon. And then some more green coming up. Here I used the embossing folder and I just cut out a square to highlight the smaller Magnolia. That's layered on petal pink cardstock with dimensionals underneath, and then that's on a piece of gold metallic cardstock. And then the pattern paper some more petal pink, and a black card base. And I layered the same way the sentiment strip. Gold, then on dimensionals, and then I stamped one of the leaf stamps and colored it in with blends, and then the sentiment, enjoy today. And then here's the inside. Now I made these a while ago, so as I'm looking back at this, I'm thinking maybe it needs some other kind of rhinestone on there. I'm not really sure, maybe this one. Although I do like how soft and simple this card is. We'll see. When I go to use them, we'll see how I change them. Here I switched the colors a little bit differently. Here's petal pink cardstock, some white cardstock, and then some of the pattern paper. And then I cut some early espresso in a wide panel and used one of the nested label dies to cut out the label, and then sent that through the embossing folder. Both the panel and the label are popped up with dimensionals. I went over the center of the flower with Wink Stella, and I also went over the stitches on both the label and the layer behind, which also leaves a line of stitching when you die cut it. Then these are some acrylic flowers from Stampin' Up, and I just added some champagne rhinestones to the center. And then on the inside, just a repeat of the colors and pattern paper. So then my last card is done in white. So I have a white card base, and then in my stash I had some white cardstock that was clear embossed, but the embossing part had some sparkle to it, some glitter, and so I just used that as a subtle layer. I got something on there. A subtle layer in the background. And then this is popped up with craft foam. I went over Wink Stella only on the centers of the flowers, and before I attached it to the card base, I used this dotted Swiss tulle kind of ribbon from Stampin' Up. So another very simple card, and then just a scrap of the embossed. It's kind of an iridescent when you see a larger piece, but of that cardstock. So there is my final card. Here are my 5 cards for Craft Your Stash. I will leave a link down below to all the participants in this collaboration so you can check out their creations for this month. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and now I'm off to create.